I was filming a Q&A video, and this particular question was way too good to pass up. I had to make it its own video. I might still upload the Q&A video, but this one was way too good. Enjoy. Next question. Hey Zach, I've been watching the channel for a while now and have learned a lot from you. As someone who just turned 30 with no debt, congratulations. That is awesome. That is above average. The average 30-year-old is in debt. As someone who just turned 30 with no debt, I'm looking to invest in Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. As a hashtag washed up financial advisor, what in your opinion is a good financial basis to have and maintain before investing in card games? That's a good question. What is a good financial basis to have? I'm going to set this down. This is going to take a minute here. A good financial basis to have. I want to state this up front. I am no longer an advisor, a broker. You should speak with an advisor before doing anything. Do not listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing or talking about. That being said, what me personally would do and what I think people should do in general, if you're looking to invest in Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, MetaZoo, Force of Will, whatever, have some money in the bank. It sounds simplistic up front. I am not kidding. Every single person I sat down with, I was amazed at, generally speaking, the lack of funds in their savings. I'm not talking about their investments, side things going on. They've got a lot of money in real estate. What are you doing? There's nothing in savings. What are you doing? That scares me. Now, one thing to keep in mind would be, okay, well, how much money should I have in savings? You said you're 30 with no debt. That's awesome. Number one thing that I would do is eliminate all or at least most of my debt. You can ignore the house for now. That's something you can set up a plan for. There are a lot of advantages to that debt, generally speaking. As far as any other debts are concerned, I would aggressively try to tackle that as best as I could because debt is guaranteed. Investing in the stock market, investing in Pokemon cards are not guaranteed. Does that make sense? The next thing that I would do is put money in the bank. I would have at least 3 months living expense. Listen to me because nobody does this. I would have at least 3 months living expenses put back in savings, tucked away in the no, don't touch me there fund. None. I would not touch it ever. That would be for living expense. You can have a side, I want to go out and just waste money on the club fund. That's awesome. You need to have at least 3 months. What I personally would want to see in anyone's savings account would be 6+ months living expenses. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. How do I calculate that? Just half of what I make. Look at what you spend and then make sure you have 6 months of that put away. Now, what I would do is literally look back at the last 3 to 6 months of money that I spent. Well, I had an exception. I had to put tires on the car that month, or, that was an unusual month because we went to the movie theaters 3 times. You have to include that. There's always an exception. There's always something. Oh, well, the washer broke down this month, or I needed to put 4 new tires on the car this month, or, well, it was vacation time. Those aren't unplanned expenses. You should expect those things happen. What are you talking about? Include everything. Now, when you include everything, you can put aside a buffer for the extreme scenarios. Like, hey man, I bought a brand new car. The last time I bought a new car was 12 years ago. Okay, include that, but have like a buffer of, okay, well, I spent 12 grand on this, I'm not expecting that every single year, every 6 months. Fair enough. I would include it in the budget, have a buffer range for that. So if it ends up, hey, it looks like I spend about 16 grand every 6 months or so, plus or minus. And on top of that, I spent 12 grand on this car, have a buffer. Maybe instead of 16 grand, 16 to 20 grand. Find that comfort zone. It doesn't have to be 6 months exactly in there or else you're going to die. Be very careful, very, very careful. If you can't control yourself, open up a separate bank account. Seriously, open up a separate second bank account. Personally, I like online bank accounts. Generally speaking, you can see a higher percentage yield on your money in that savings. Instead of making 0.05% or 0.005% at some banks on your money, which is literally nothing, by the way. Like 1 penny a year, that would be fantastic on all of my money in there. I would like to see an online bank account open, even if you don't put everything in there. You're looking at more like 0.75%, 1%, 1.05%, 1.75%, depending on how much is in there, how long you've been a customer, how long it's been open, blah, 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 blah. Lots of other things. Another thing that I would like to look at as well, let's say you've got 6+ months living expenses set aside. Please, this is what I would do. Invest in the stock market. You don't have to be a broker. You don't have to know everything. If anything, take advantage of your company match. You would be shocked, absolutely shocked at the amount of people that I sat down with who didn't know they had a company match or were not taking full advantage of their company match. 50% of the time I would ask people and sit down. You have to realize the type of people watching this channel, generally speaking, are a little bit more financially inclined. They're more interested in it. So there's a good chance a lot of people watching this will know that information. Had to be half the people I sat down with didn't even know how much they made per month, how much they were contributing per month. If they had a company match, they didn't know if it was pre-tax or after-tax dollars. And these were people who were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. What are you doing? Take 5 minutes of your time. Call your HR. If you don't know how much you're getting matched, find that information out. If your HR doesn't know, they're going to be able to point you in the direction of, hey, we don't have that, but you can go online and find that here. Here's the brokerage that holds our 401k, 403b, whatever that is. Then take advantage of that match if you get one and take full advantage of that. That is free money. Again, that is free money. If they match 4%, take 4% of what you make every paycheck, put it in there, and the company puts in 4% with it. Now, another thing to keep in mind, there's sometimes a vesting schedule involved, like with a particular company, and that's just a nice way. It's a retention thing for companies. It's a nice way of saying, hey, if you work 5 years here, you're fully vested, so the money that we also put in there, that's going to be yours as well. You can Google that if you have more questions. It's usually pretty self-explanatory, though. Make sure you know what the vesting schedule is exactly. Some vesting schedules don't go off of hire date. It goes off of hire year, meaning you need to complete that full year of work before you get your before you're fully vested. So keep that in mind as well. So now you're taking full advantage of your match. Oh my goodness, well, I'm just investing so much. Personally, I would want to see at least 15% of your income put toward retirement. At least 15% regularly. That would be combined incomes if you happen to be married to Scooby-Doo or whoever. The next thing that I would want to see on top of that would be you opening a separate account. So you're investing 3, 4, 5, 6% if it's a really good company. Generally speaking, you're not going to be able to take advantage of more match than that. Those are the average numbers, that 3 to 6% range. Then I would want to see something kind of like opening a separate investment account. If you make a certain amount of money, if you're under a certain dollar amount, you can invest in a Roth IRA. If not, you can open up a traditional IRA and then convert that money to Roth. The reason I like Roth personally, and if you don't, then invest in traditional. Either way, just invest. The next thing that I would look at would be, okay, I want to make sure that I take, let's see, I contribute 5% to the company. They're putting in 5%. I don't count that. I'm now going to take 10% of my money and invest it in this IRA. And in that IRA, I would contribute regularly. If you're someone who makes over the dollar amount to invest in a Roth, that's awesome. Invest that in a traditional IRA. Here's the point I was trying to make before. I was trying to talk and figure it out. I was like, what am I talking about at this point? The next thing, hold on, I'm thinking of it. The next thing that I would do is open a Roth IRA. That's my opinion. The reason I like Roth IRAs is because Roths are awesome. You don't have to pay taxes on it after you contribute on a Roth basis for at least 5 years and you're 59 and a half or older and you pull that money out. That sounds pretty cool in retirement. Except for a couple of unique cases, almost every person I ever spoke to. Ever. Am I making that clear? Because people want to fight you to the death on this stuff. Invest in traditional or invest in Roth. My opinion is Roth, except for those couple unique cases, every single person I spoke to made more money later on in their life than they did previously because they got promotions, worked other jobs, worked multiple jobs, had other sources of income, whatever the case. Do you think, the question to ask yourself would be, do I think I'm going to be making more money now in my 20s or 30s than when I'm 50 or 60 or 70? When will I be making more money? Do I want to be paying taxes now when I'm in a lower tax bracket or when I'm older? I'd rather do that now. Again, whatever floats your boat, just take advantage of that. Once you're maxing out your IRAs, 401k matches, whatever it is, once you do that, now we can talk about investing in cards. Whew, I'm sweaty just thinking about all of this now. That is when I would look at investing in whatever it is that you think is cool. If you have a home, I really like paying off homes early. I like going with 30-year. We can go into so much detail on this. I don't want to bog this down too much and make this too complex. The reason I like having money in traditional assets, meaning I can liquidate stocks like that on Vanguard. I can do that on Fidelity. I can't do that with this stuff. Hopefully some of this stuff will sell quick, and realistically speaking, you'll be able to sell it down the line. You have to remember that liquidity asset, that these are going to be sold in 3 minutes, most likely. Not everything on here. I don't know why I had to look at them to make that connection, but that is not something you have to liquidate, or that's something that you can't liquidate immediately. Same thing with a home. Why do I think houses are safer than this sort of deal? Because I can go to a bank and borrow money against a home. I say, hey, I have this home. Can I borrow some money? And guess what? They're going to say, yeah, buddy, you can borrow some money. I can't do that with this stuff. Yeah, trust me. I wouldn't know. I didn't ask them if I could borrow money against my Pokemon collection. But yeah, bank just doesn't care about your sexy evolutions binder. I wish they did, but they don't. They actually don't care about any of that. I know. That's what I would do to start my solid financial basis before investing in Pokemon and all of these things. Aside from that, well, how much of that money would you want to... It depends what your risk tolerance is. How much do you believe in the company? At the end of the day, you're investing in that Pokemon card franchise, the Pokemon company. For Magic the Gathering, you're investing in Wizards of the Coast Hasbro, all tied up. You're investing in singular stocks. How much do you want to be exposed to that potential risk of those companies? Some people think these companies are too big to fail at this point. While that's always a possibility of failure, you also have to ask yourself, okay, what is the likely scenario of these companies regressing in the short, mid, or long term? That's something you have to ask yourself. Personally, I don't see these companies going anywhere anytime soon. That's how I approach it. That's how I like to approach it. And I love this stuff. And this is from a purely financial point of view. Guys, I sat down with a couple of people, and you're throwing your money out. You're pissing your money away by buying energy drinks every single month. I sat down with several people who spend over $100 per month on energy drinks. Could you imagine getting a bill in the mail that says $120 every single month because you have a crippling addiction that is stupid, that is dumb? What are you doing? Buy in bulk at least. Don't get stuff from the vending machines at the gas station. Stop it. What are you doing? What? It boggles my mind. Well, I can't save $200 a month, man. It's really hard. Yes, you can. You're an idiot if you can't. I will say that again. You're an idiot if you can't save a couple $100 a month. I know people on minimum wage who can save money every single month. You can do it. Don't bring up that excuse ever again. Stop lying to yourself. You are better than that. You are way better than that. And the chances are, if you're watching this video and you open up Pokemon cards or Magic cards or whatever cards monthly, regularly, chances are you make quite a bit more than minimum wage, even if you don't get another job and do it. Well, you know, I just don't have the time. Yes, you do. Did you sleep last night? I think you have time to do it and get it done. No excuses. No excuses. $200 a month. Personally, I'd like to see an IRA maxed out every single month. I think most people can do that. They can do that. Would that make things uncomfortable? Maybe I can't buy pizza every single night, or we can't get Chipotle every single time we go out now. Maybe some things need to change. Maybe you can't get the ultra premium Netflix edition. Maybe just one Netflix account and you gotta get rid of Disney and all these other things per month for a little while. That is how I would handle it. It's just, you're just throwing your future away. I want to give you an example. 30 years old. I know this because I know from 20, 30, 40. From 30 years old, if you invest $200, we're not talking about $500 a month. We're talking about $200 a month. If you spend $200 per month at 30 years old, by the time you're 60 and you want to hang it up and you're done at that point, if you invested $200 per month and you started off with $0 in there and you just did that and didn't get a match on anything at all, and you did worse than the S&P 500 has historically done in the last 20 years. If you've done worse than that and only saw a 7% return on your money, you'd be sitting at just less than $230,000. As opposed to if you just put that money in your savings, $200 a month, over 30 years, you'd be looking at $72,000. Do I want $72,000 or do I want $230,000? Well, when you put it like that, Zach, that's a hard decision to make. Shut up! I get a little passionate about this stuff from time to time. About lost my voice there too. I hope this video brought some value to you. Greg, let's call him Greg. I hope this helped someone out there. I saw this regularly. I got phone calls about people regularly. People taking out loans from their 401ks regularly, borrowing against themselves. Oh, well, that sounds pretty good. I get only a 5% interest I have to pay back on that, and I pay myself back. That's awesome. You're borrowing from your future self from that. There are just so many things. There's just use your brain, talk to a financial advisor, someone who knows what they're doing, not me. I hope this brought some sort of value to somebody out there, even if it's just one person. Let me know in the comments. Let me know any other things you guys want us to talk about. If you did enjoy this type of video, let me know. This is pretty easy to make. It's fun to make too. So again, thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified of future videos just like this one. And until next time. I don't know, man, but it's hard. That's what she said. Shut up. You can do it.